Hey there, I'm Robin, and today I'm going to talk about chapter 1 of The Eye of the World from the Wheel of Time book series. And just want to mention that actually this chapter was probably like, I think this is like a symptom of books that have prologues where the first chapter is actually kind of a slow one, because the prologue sort of sets up expectations, does a bit of world building and stuff like that. And I think the prologue for The Eye of the World was actually quite action packed, I guess. There's a lot of stuff going on, a bit of magic and all sorts. Whereas this one, it's just sort of setting up the main protagonist, I think. And our main protagonist here is Rand al'Thor. I think that's how it's pronounced. That's what I'm going with. So feel free to correct me. But yeah, and so it starts out with him sort of travelling down this road with his dad. I think, as far as I understood, they were sort of delivering some form of alcohol to Two Rivers, which is their hometown. But from what I gather, like, the roads aren't really safe for some reason. I'm not sure if it's like the time of year or what, but yeah, or whether it's that there are evil things afoot. But anyway, sort of on the way to Two Rivers, Rand's sort of talking to his dad, and all of a sudden Rand sort of turns around and sees a sort of a figure dressed all in black, riding a horse behind him. And based on the prologue, you kind of assume that it's the betrayer of hope, or the great Dark Lord himself, or whatever. But it's really not clear sort of who it was at this point. But basically, Rand sort of looks away for a moment and then looks back, and the person's gone. So it's, sort of, were they there to begin with? Was it like a vision? Is it a premonition or something like that? Or was it someone that actually was there, but they're using magic or something like that? Anyway, yeah, like I say, there's not too much to this chapter. Basically, Rand and Tam end up getting back to Two Rivers, coming across all sorts of townsfolk and whatnot, and so it seems like there's some sort of festival that's going to be taking place soon, and there's a little bit of talk about how there's potentially going to be some fireworks at this one, and they're sort of kind of excited about it because they talk about how there were fireworks at one of these festivals like 10 years ago, and it's still talked about today, so it's kind of a big deal for some reason. So they're scarce for some reason. So there's a little, like, there are things sort of still to be explained, but hopefully they will be further on in the novel. I think, like, fairly soon, to be fair, because it seems like this event's going to happen soon, and hopefully some of that gets explained. But yeah, while Rand's dad is talking to some other people, Rand's friend, and I assume it's his best friend, named Matt, sort of takes him to one side, sort of thing, secretly, or tries to do it secretly, and starts talking to him, and he also mentions that he saw this man dressed all in black. So something weird's going on. I would have figured that it would have made sense. It makes sense for it to happen to Rand because he's the main character, and that's sort of like almost like the call to action, I guess. Like, or it might be the call to action. We'll see. We're not quite there yet. But yeah, I guess as Matt saw it too, then perhaps that's a reason for him to sort of get involved with Rand and sort of help out with whatever sort of ends up happening, because I get the feeling that something's going to go wrong at this festival, basically. There is a little bit of talk about a gleeman, and I think that's like an entertainer, basically. And the way that they describe him, one of the townsfolk describes him, because they mention that he's in town, and they describe him to Matt and Rand, and they somehow sort of make the assumption that he is the dark figure that they saw, because it kind of would have made sense, right, if like they both saw him. Perhaps it's someone that was passing through two rivers or something like that. But then they say no, he was dressed all in like fancy colours and things like that, so it doesn't seem like it is him. But for some reason I get the feeling that it will be that person, but we'll have to see, because the end of this chapter was sort of just Rand and Matt just sort of delivering casks into the inn. And there's another sort of side thing as well about Rand's love interest, but I won't mention that too much right now, because I don't think it's too important right now. I mean, there wasn't anything sort of significant made out about it, other than I guess that he seems to be avoiding her for some reason. I can't quite tell whether Rand actually likes her right now, but I suppose again we'll see how that goes in future chapters. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, I think. So basically, yeah, introduced to the main protagonist and potentially sort of secondary protagonist in Matt and maybe even Tam as well. Although usually in these types of stories, the fathers are sort of, they don't tend to have a great fate. So I'm expecting a bit of blood at this festival, basically. So we'll have to see how that goes. It might not even happen in the next chapter. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, that's it for this chapter. I'd love to hear what you've got to say about what happened in this chapter. If you're reading along with me, or sort of find this in the future at any point, feel free to comment, and let's chat about it. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.